Hello, my brothers and sisters in our Lord Jesus Christ. My name is Father Joe, and I'm a priest at St. Joseph's Church in Elko, Nevada. This reflection is going to be for the readings for yesterday, and I apologize for not posting this video. Unfortunately, I had some problems with the internet at my house yesterday, and so I was only able to record 18 seconds before I finally gave up. So this is going to be about the readings from yesterday. Now, in our gospel, there is two things that I want to talk about because there's kind of two parts to this. The first one is Jesus's declaration to stop judging so that you may not be judged. For the measure with which you measure will be measured back to you. And then the second one is the removing the beam from our own eye before we try to remove the speck from the other. And I'm going to riff off of St. Augustine because I really liked his commentary on this, and it was thought-provoking for me. So first, do not judge or stop judging. Now, the word that we translate as judge in Greek is krino, and I've said this in the past, but this is a very, very harsh word. It could even be translated as do not condemn or stop condemning. And I like that idea better because unfortunately, in English, we have this idea of judgment as being something that we say something is right or wrong, whereas it seems as though what the word in Greek krino means is a very harsh condemnation to the point where you are simply saying you are a terrible person and nothing you could do could ever be right. Like, Jesus doesn't seem to be saying don't separate evil from good. He's saying don't write someone off. St. Augustine said that, and I'm going to quote him here, that those who wish to condemn love rather to censure and to condemn rather than to amend and to improve. And he goes even further and says that to make complaint against vices is the duty of every good and benevolent person. And so I don't want to say that we shouldn't evaluate the moral character of certain actions. In fact, we must evaluate the moral character of certain actions because we don't want to do evil. We don't want to sin. But when we see others sinning, we shouldn't condemn them, write them off, say that there is no hope for them. And that seems to be more what Christ is saying. Which then brings us to the second part of removing the beam from our own eyes before we help remove the speck from our brothers. Now, obviously, this is about hypocrisy, about taking care of ourselves before we try to help others, that if we have vices within ourselves, we should first seek to amend those before simply trying to find faults in others. But St. Augustine actually had a very interesting comment on this, because he said that the speck and the beam were related to hatred. And it seems as though what he's saying is the eye is that through which we perceive the world, the way in which we evaluate what's going on. And the beam and the speck distort our vision. And the thing that distorts our vision is hatred. And so when Jesus is telling us to remove the speck and the beam, St. Augustine takes this as removing hatred from our lives. And so if we ourselves are filled with hatred and we simply wish to condemn, to censure, to point out the flaws in others, then we won't actually be able to help anyone. I take it further, the brothers here seems to be related to Christians. And so it will be someone who is not living a Christian life, then telling someone else that they weren't living a Christian life. Out of spite or out of hatred, which I thought was a very interesting thing, to remove the hatred from ourselves, remove the desire to condemn from ourselves before we then go try to help others, because we're trying to amend and to build up our brothers and sisters in the Lord. With that, I'm going to end my reflection. Stay safe, my brothers and sisters, and may God bless and keep you.